Hi.
There. I was about to say good morning. It's afternoon,
Yeah.
technically.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Veronica.
I'm Megan. It's nice to meet you. I have to apologize. I'm gonna also join from my phone. I've been in meetings all morning, so I need to run the dogs down really quickly. So we're gonna
Go
do
for it.
a double punch here. How's your day so
We're gonna,
far?
it's good. And I was gonna tell you, we can multitask. We're here for 90 minutes, so I know it's a lot of time. So if you need to get up, take the dogs out while we're chatting, if you need to grab a drink of water or some coffee, whatever, you do your thing. 90 minutes is a long time, I realize.
No, totally understood. And I like make the appointment when I'm like, yeah, I'll have that time. And then it's like, oh, it's like full on crunch work time. So okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna switch to my phone for a minute.
sure.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold on one second. All right, so sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, now I think I've got it figured out. All right.
Okay.
Um,
So it sounds like Arthur and Gabe are giving you a run for your money.
yes, to say the least. They're like lovely and also becoming very stressful to me.
Sure. Yeah. And it sounds like they have different issues, and it's not like anything is correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't sound like either of the behaviors that they're having are new. They're just kind of getting worse over time, and you've got some life events happening in the next few months where you're like, I want to try to get ahead of this and kind of not start over, but just kind of get to the bottom of these things at this rate.
Right, exactly. And just
Okay.
like making sure with like all of the different shifts coming up and like, something where it seem things do seem to be getting worse and also just like setting them up for success and just ready to help them turn a new leaf so it's not stressful for me, especially when it's like just me and my kid.
Right. Right. Okay. So right now you have a couple of months still in the home that you're in before you move, and there's
Exactly.
different factors there. I know you mentioned that you have Kurt still living there and the
Hmm.
dynamic of that. So we can piece things together as such to make some progress, like lay the foundation while you're still in your place there that will hopefully carry over to the new place.
Yeah,
Do you have like a move date specifically or not yet?
not yet.
Okay.
It's my new
Okay.
place is being like worked on, so it's up in the air right now.
Okay, that's fair, just so we know what we're working with here. Okay,
It's
I read,
probably going to be within June. Like it's like TBD, but probably within June.
okay, June-ish, and then accounting for something will happen because it always happens, let's face it.
Yes.
So maybe July-ish,
Yeah.
midsummer, right smack in the
Sometime
middle
in
of
the summer.
summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay. So it looks like, okay, so I was reading over your history form. I wanted to start off with, I know we've got lots of behavior issues. We've got the barking, we've got the reactivity to dogs and going nuts when people come over. We've got
Hmm.
potty issues. So we've got a lot going on. I wanted to start focus on medical aspect of things before we dive into behaviors because I sometimes find that I get little nuggets of information that may help.
Okay.
And be, physical health has such a big impact on how our dogs behave. So I want to kind of tease out some of the questions that I had about that, and then we'll circle back to the behavior things. Before I actually get into that, is there anything that you want to share or that you want to provide an update on, like since you had filled out that form, like anything that I should know?
No, I mean, I just filled that out on Wednesday, so I was very like, it's very recent. I don't think there's
Okay.
anything really to share. I think I tried to. I think I captured anything. I think the only thing that I was sort of thinking about was like we did puppy training with Arthur. I've never tried training with Gabe. I feel like he would be highly trainable.
Hmm.
But it was like one of those where I think I wrote it in there at some point, like I've tried so many different things that I don't know what the right thing to do is in terms of like
Yeah.
even just like basics. Like he doesn't know how to sit. I'm trying to do it and he's just so confused. I'm like, what is the like move here? Even just
Yeah.
starting, even with Arthur, I know he's older, but like doing a foundational sort of reset with him on just the basics would be like, hey, do this, say exactly this, don't say this, all of those things because there's a lot of different information out there. And then the other thing with Arthur, like he is stubborn as hell. I don't know if that's like I've heard it's very common with dachshunds, but it's literally like they want to go for a walk and I'm like, hey, come on, come over here. Here's your vest. I call it their harness, the
The
vest. And
harness.
Arthur, they'll sit there and they'll sit down and wait. I'm just like, literally, you want to go for the walk. So the second I go to like open the door, they'll be like ready. So I'm like, what is the thing that's not connecting? Is it stubbornness? Is it lack of clear direction? Like, where is this? I can't like put my finger on it. And it's,
Hmm.
probably a combination of a lot. But yeah, that was kind of my other thought was just even the foundations are not necessarily there for both of them and that the figuring out like what to say, what not to say, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Sure. Yeah. And with all of the different things and that, well, it's already hard because there's a lot of different factors, but also now you have two dogs. So
Yeah,
that complicates things, especially when there's one that needs a different response or level of something than the other. It just
right.
complicates the whole situation. I have a two-dog household as well, so I totally get that. And I read your on your intake form that you said that when Arthur starts barking, like Gabe will start barking, but like in a confused way. I'm like, I
Yeah.
absolutely know what you mean because that
Yeah, he's
happens
like,
with my dogs.
what are
Yeah.
we doing?
What am I? Yeah, where? What should we be doing now?
But then
Yeah,
Arthur chills out and Gabe doesn't. He never, it's like I can't get him to calm down because he just is like high alert then. So yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Well, you're right on the money in terms of thinking about it that way of why is it that sometimes they're able to do what you want them to do and other times they're having a really hard time. And
Hmm.
so when I hear that you feel like they're stubborn, there's probably something going on there. And you're right, there might be multiple things that are contributing to why that is. Maybe they haven't been trained well enough in the thing that you're asking them for. Maybe they're just unclear. Maybe it hasn't been trained to the point where they know it yet. There might be something going on in the environment that is causing them not to be able to focus on you.
Hmm.
Like whatever's going on there is far more fun than what you are asking me to do right now. So they
Hmm.
could be competing with that. So there's lots of different reasons. We'll talk about some of that stuff and how to strategize on what we're going to do to get them to that point where they can think and learn, because that's going to be a big deal for us in terms of how do we change their behaviors. We first need to get them to the place where they're able to think and learn, and that means that they're under their threshold.
Yeah.
Before we even talk about those thresholds, we'll talk a lot about body language because we can't really proceed with any of the things without us understanding how they each respond, because they might respond differently. So
Hmm.
knowing each of their body language, the way that they communicate, I think is going to be helpful. So, okay, let me actually, before I do that, let me circle back to some of the medical questions. And I think some of the behavior components and the body language stuff will come up naturally in our conversation based on what we discussed about the behaviors. You mentioned in the form that right now Gabe is taking Prozac.
Hmm.
Arthur is not on any medications, or are they both
Hmm.
on like the preventatives, like
Hmm.
the flea and tick and Cosequin and all
Consequent,
that stuff?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. How long has Gabe been taking Prozac?
It's probably been about 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
But it's been improved. Like he was way more
Good.
anxious before. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I am assuming that you started at a specific dose and then you might have had to make adjustments to it over time, or you
We
always
just
stayed at
started
the same
low and it's
dose.
just been kept it at low.
Okay. Since you have started it and to the point you're saying that he's far less anxious now,
Hmm.
do you think that that is like a a 50% improvement with that medication?
I'm trying to think back. I mean, like, yeah, I would say like 50%. Like that sounds
Okay,
about right.
that's exactly what I want to hear. Medications like Prozac are not necessarily going to fix
Hmm.
behaviors. Your vet probably told you that, right?
Oh, right.
What it's meant to do is just bring them under threshold more so that they can think and learn and be able to process a little bit better as
Hmm.
opposed to when they're over threshold. So once you get to that 50% mark, that means that you're at a pretty good dose where you can do more training and behavior modification. So okay, that gives
Okay.
me that information there. And Arthur is not
No,
on the
but
Prozac.
honestly, sorry. I've thought about, I was thinking about this while filling it out. It's like at one point we talked about it, and I don't know why we never pursued it because he cannot get under that threshold with anyone or like if there's dogs around or anything. Even when we were doing training,
Mhm.
we were doing one-on-one training and there was like an agility class happening outside and it was literally just like
Mhm.
boom. Like he's so reactive. So I wonder if it would be a good something to try with him.
Okay. By the way, I'm taking notes as we're going along, so I have a second screen. So if you see me
Okay.
typing away and doing this, it's because I'm taking
No
notes.
worries. And I was actually going
Um,
to ask, like, should I take notes? I see you're recording. Like, will I get the recording or will you send?
yes.
Okay,
Yes, you're
great.
gonna get, thank you for, I'll mention that. You are gonna get a recording of this. So
Okay,
if you want to play it back for anything, you absolutely can. I'm also gonna send you at the end of this every session a training worksheet that's
great.
gonna have like of all the things that we discuss, it's gonna be like, okay, here's what we like the plan, here's more information about this thing. So I'll send you all of those details. So yeah,
Okay,
you can take notes if you feel like there's something that resonates with you that you want to jot down. Otherwise, I'm gonna send you lots of information.
yeah. Okay, that's
Okay.
perfect. Great.
Yeah, so if Arthur has a hard time recovering after he gets like super aroused, does
Mm-hmm.
he, it sounds like too that Arthur is the kind of guy that's like, it's not so much that he's in distress about a lot of things aside from seeing other dogs. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's got big feels about that, but like new people coming to the house, he is just beyond excited. So it's not necessarily I'm afraid, it's just I'm uber excited and cannot
Yeah,
contain myself. Okay.
literally. Yeah.
Okay. And how often does that happen? The, oh my God, I can't contain myself. I'm so excited. Is this a daily thing?
Everyone. Well, no, it's
Okay.
everyone who doesn't live in the house. So, and then
Okay.
some people elicit more of a strong response. Like my cleaning lady came this morning and it's literally like, you know, my best friends coming over, flip out. Like, there are certain people who it's just like over the moon,
Hmm.
cannot contain himself, and then will bark at them through the whole night if they quit paying attention to him. But it's like the entry point is also very intense. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
everyone.
How often are you having people over?
It really varies. Like, it's probably once a month or so.
Okay. And I'm assuming for the most part, you know when someone is coming over.
Oh yeah,
Like you
yeah,
plan for it. Okay.
yeah. And I just
Okay.
realized I remembered that we have what's the one that you give, the lorazepam?
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
don't do that very often, and it doesn't really seem. I mean, they just get so sleepy, and it's like to me, it's like the band-aid on the problem. But when we know that something is coming, like fireworks or uh people, big party or anything, which is never that big, like we would do that in advance for both of them.
For both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay. Um, yeah, we'll talk more about this as throughout this session today. In terms of Arthur being on medications, one of the things that I look forward to be like, do you need meds? Like, are you a good candidate for being on medication? Is if he's having a hard time coming down from being super aroused, that's
Hmm.
information. And then if he escalates super quickly, like he goes from 0 to 60, where there's
Hmm.
not a whole lot of in between, it's like I'm calm, and then I'm like, ah, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of variation between. those are two pretty big things that are like maybe you could use some help from pharmaceuticals,
Okay.
perhaps. So we'll
Yeah.
keep a pin in that as we talk a little bit more to see if that's something that we want to circle back to your vet about.
Yeah.
I do see a lot that if there are two dogs in the household, and if one of them's got some issues and is on meds, usually the other one's going to need it at some point too. Not always, but
Yeah.
just because, like you said, they kind of take behavior cues from each other and it can kind
Right.
of snowball
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's not unusual for that to be the case. It's also good information that the lorazepam just kind of makes them sleepy.
Yeah.
That's good information for your vet. So any of those medications, whether it be a daily medication like the Prozac or one you use situationally like the lorazepam,
Yeah.
the goal is not, we don't want sedation, like
Right.
lethargy, dumpy potatoes, zombie dogs. Like that's not the goal. The goal is just to be calm.
Yeah.
So if you feel like any of the meds that are ever prescribed to either of them are making them sleepy to the point where they're just like dull and whatever, let
Yeah.
your vet know because that means that either maybe that's not the right dose
Right.
for them, or maybe it's not the right drug because there's a million drugs out there. There's alternatives that can be tried that may not be as sedating but can still be calming. So
Right.
that might
Okay.
be good information for your vet.
Okay.
Okay. Um, here. Okay, so we've got that. And thought I saw who somebody had, well, I mean, they're both dachshunds. They
Mm.
back issues or
That's
knee
our
issues? Arthur.
back.
Okay.
Well, Gabe, they said that he was clicking, which is why it was a breeder release. Our vet found nothing. But yes, Arthur had a situation last summer where he was like yelping every time he would jump or move or whatever, and
Mm,
then was just like not able to really move comfortably. And so I took him to the emergency vet, and in classic Arthur form, he got so excited by the people that like the
like
adrenaline
adrenaline.
won out, and he was like, oh, and they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do an x-ray on him, but he probably has an issue, so here's some gabapentin, and if it doesn't resolve when he's not here, then we'll do imaging. I'm like, okay, great. Like we know he probably has a slip disc or a bulging disc or whatever. The gabapentin resolved it in that
Oh, good.
moment. It just became
Okay.
like you can only, like just being very careful with his neck, very careful with him. So,
Okay.
um, and we haven't had to do imaging, but it's assumed that there is, as dachshunds and dogs get that like something in his cervical spine.
Yeah. I kind of make that assumption for all dachshunds. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have back issues and you're probably gonna have knee issues. That's why when I
Yeah.
saw it, I'm like, yeah, that checks out. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, just something to keep in the back of our minds. That's certainly when dogs are limping or they're whining because they're having trouble getting off of things, we're going to notice that. And you did the
Yeah.
right thing taking them to the vet. But if you notice that either one of them starts to just be more hesitant to like jump on the furniture or something like that,
Yeah.
maybe they're not limping, but those are early signs, especially as they're aging. Arthur's more so than Gabe, but you never
Yeah.
know. Those could be early signs of physical discomfort, if not just complete obvious outward pain. Physical discomfort and pain greatly exacerbate behavior issues. So
You
you
know,
might also see around that time that they're more irritable or just more agitated or just other just behavior changes. If there's anything very sudden that happens with a change in behavior, I'm usually like, what medically is going on?
yeah. Honestly, it's an interesting call out because like he's a stoic dog, like in terms of pain, he's never really like it has to be that extreme for him
Hmm.
to tell us. But like thinking back, it's like I wonder if there's some I don't know that it might be worth sort of like going to the doc about that for sure.
Sure. Yeah, especially if you think that you've noticed just changes over time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt to rule that out as a contributing factor to either of their behaviors, honestly. Pain
Yeah.
is a big one. The other big one is GI issues. It sounds like they both eat really well. There's no
Yeah.
issues. They like treats, all that stuff. Okay. They eat well. Like it's not like they're skipping meals or anything.
They don't ever skip meals. We have to keep like I guess Gabe will like he just will not he doesn't always eat a lot. He's actually gained weight on Prozac even though he doesn't eat his whole meal every time, which I'm like,
Hmm.
that's classic Prozac for you. But the he like Arthur will go try to eat the rest of his meal because Arthur feels starved, of course, even though he's overweight. And then the yeah, I think that they're fine. Gabe has had an issue with eating poop. If it's like unpicked up in the backyard, he will eat it. They both like to eat things off the ground in general.
Okay.
And will like beeline for everything outside that's on the ground.
Okay. That's good to know. How are their poops? Are they formed? Are they dry? Are they runny? Like, I know no one wants to talk about poop around
It goes
lunchtime, but
listen, I have a 9-year-old kid, so this is their life. They it's like as soon as you have a kid, you're like, okay, this is what we talk about now. It's so funny because it's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes they're like very formed, they're never dry. And then although I feel like Gabe's has been a little bit dry lately now that I'm thinking about it. And Arthur's a very healthy pooper. Gabe, I think he poops in the morning. It's like he doesn't always poop on a walk. And
okay.
then Arthur's are like very normal to runny sometimes, but it's very inconsistent. There's no like diet change. There's no nothing unless he's gotten into something that we don't know about.
Okay. So it could be if there are no other contributing factors, it might be anxiety, stress related. That can certainly be reflected in inconsistent GI things. They, the fact that they sometimes, well, Gabe, that he won't always finish his food, but he's gaining weight on the Prozac. Like neither of them are vomiting
No,
ever. Are they
like
gassy?
um, Arthur can be a little bit gassy, but it's not frequent.
Okay.
They're not like it's a very occasional vomit. It's nothing significant, like once a month maybe from Arthur.
Is it vomiting in certain contexts, like he was running around and he was excited, or it's like it was after like an hour after I ate? Is it first thing in the morning, or does it really vary?
So like it's what has happened? What was the last one? I'm trying to remember what it was. My husband and I accidentally double fed them one night. Arthur
Sure,
threw it, which makes sense.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I fed the dogs. It's like, oh no, I actually fed the dogs. Oh, whoops.
That
Arthur's like,
happens.
oh, turns out you don't eat all the food. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what it was with Arthur. I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. Just something to kind of keep in mind. Um, do you notice like any excessive like lip licking?
Mm-mm.
A lot of that? Okay. Okay. How about you? Because you mentioned, I think Gabe is the one that's more prone to responding to noises that
Mm-hmm.
he hears, right? And you have the lorazepam for things like fireworks. Do you
Mm-hmm.
use that also for like big storms, or what other sound
No.
sensitivities do they have?
I just got him a new like Thunder shirt that's like the fleece version and he loves it. Like he basically asks for it if there's a storm.
Gabe does or
Mhm.
Arthur? Okay.
Arthur does not have one.
Okay.
Arthur's okay, so here's the transference, right? Arthur could not be bothered by anything, fireworks, storm, nothing. Now that
Okay.
Gabe is in the house, he's picking up that anxiety. I've just started to like realize that. It's like been that transference, you know?
Okay. So it was more so Gabe that had some sensitivity to storms and fireworks and just
Yeah.
noises in general, and Arthur's now kind of tagging along in those
Yeah.
behaviors as well. Has that always been the case for Gabe, like since you've had
Yeah.
him?
So he
Okay.
came in like sad and broken and like very, very like they when we rescued him, it was like they had to have another dog to learn how to be a dog because they think that he had literally just been in a cage by himself. At like,
Okay.
he was a breeder release, like it was very much like um they don't think he was. I think he might have been a little bit abused based on how he walks behind us and is very leery, and if someone's coming he stops and like freezes, but it's like he just certainly was never loved, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to tell with these rescue guys, right? Like, and there's so many things that go into affecting how our dogs behave. Certainly medical stuff, which is why we're checking that box now. Certainly their genetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on whatever their parents were like. Maybe they parents also had bad knees and bad backs. Here we go. It's
Mm-hmm.
just keeps getting passed on. Early life experiences definitely play a role, and you have no control over that,
Yeah.
right? Like the 8 weeks of life to like 12 weeks, that critical socialization period.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe something traumatic happened before you had him. A lot of the times, I also find that it's not that something happened, it's about what didn't happen. Like maybe around that time, they weren't exposed to tall men with big hats
Yeah.
or vacuum cleaner sounds or, who knows, the
Yeah.
storms and all that stuff. So a lot of the times I think it's just the absence of some of the things that they weren't exposed to either at all or properly. And that's what can lead to either fear, anxiety, or stress now. The other part of that, and when we start to have some more control, is for everything that they do, for Arthur and Gabe, they do a thing and something happens. So
Yeah.
let's say the barking. So they're barking, barking, barking. You're like, oh my God, I cannot take it. So you say quiet or
Yeah.
shush or whatever, right? To them, that's attention,
Right.
right? So, and they were asking for attention. And even though we said quiet, technically that's attention.
Yeah.
So we're reinforcing the behavior, and that's okay. I'll come back to that. But I just mean by that to them, that means I do this and this thing happens. So they're
Yeah.
like, this works. So I'm going to do this because this works for me. And they put that in the library in their
Yep.
head, being like, I do this thing and this thing happens. This works for me and this thing happens. So
Yeah.
when we talk about changing behavior, we need to start putting in there, oh, this thing happens and then this thing happens, kind of replacing any negative or undesirable things that we want them to have in their learning bank. So we can start to talk about how we do all of that, but just so we know what we're up against. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just Arthur's this way because of this, or Gabe's this way because of that. There's lots of different reasons why they're probably both behaving the way they are, and it's just super complex. It's annoying because it makes it super hard for us to fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many things involved, but they're living organisms and behavior's complex, and here we are. Okay, so that's good information there. The noise sensitivity I ask about because a lot of times I find pain and noise sensitivity are associated.
Mm.
So especially if
Okay.
Gabe was the one that was most sensitive to noises right away, like it could just be he didn't have exposure, like all the stuff we just said. But sometimes it's also pain because I hear the thing and it causes me to like jump and that hurt. Like whatever
Yeah.
motion I did, that hurt. Therefore, I am scared. So now
Yeah.
I'm scared of the noise and I also don't feel well. And the whole thing just kind of snowballs from there. So that's why I ask about that. Do you
Yeah.
notice either of them like flinching or like twitching their body parts ever when you're petting them at all?
So, I mean, it's like, this is really, it's like, I feel like maybe Arthur is in pain and he's just not like actively telling us in the way that I would expect it, but because
Yeah.
he's never really been that way. So I wonder if, I mean, just he's been a little bit more sluggish lately. And I'm like, is it old age? Like, what's going on? And he's not, I mean, Gabe sometimes, I mean, as a dachshund, you're just very careful with how you pick them up, right?
Yeah.
But like sometimes I'll do anything normal and I guess he'll flinch. So and I'm like, oh, did I do pick him up wrong? And I just assume it to that. But maybe they're
Yeah.
both having like some back issues, you know?
Okay. So this is for both dogs that they'll sometimes like flinch depending on how you're picking
Like
them up.
Arthur's more, yeah, Gabe can be like, it's just I have to pick him up in a certain way. It's so, or he'll get very like he has yelped before with that, and then like with I don't know what it was. It was just like it's funny because Arthur's like 20 pounds and Gabe's like so much lighter. He's like 11
I
pounds.
saw
So it's
that.
like a
Yeah.
very different. It's like tiny boy, and then Arthur, and like they're both very short. So Arthur's just very husky and Gabe's petite. So it's like there's a little bit less like with Arthur, I'm like very careful. And maybe Gabe is like, oh hey, but maybe it's just like a little bit too, like abrupt or something for him. And there was a moment he
Sure.
yelped and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? So yeah, maybe there's like something going on with both of them. And then Arthur, he's like a little bit more slow, a little bit more like sometimes guarded. And yes, you can like move his body in a certain way, which I just absolutely attributed to having the neck issues. But I assume that there's some sort of like ongoing pain management that it's worthwhile looking into with his doctor because we know that's a known issue, right? Like with what's going on, and maybe before it
Yeah.
becomes another emergency, that it's like getting some sort of a pain management with him.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think all of that are good things to bring up to your vet. How looks like you guys scrolling. You see Ravenswood Animal
Mhm.
Hospital. How
Yeah,
do you like your vet? You have a good relationship with them?
yeah, they're
Excellent.
fabulous.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's definitely all of these things are noteworthy to mention to them that so as far as the pain goes, and vets need more specific information. Like the more specific you can be, the better, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess that if you take either one of them to the vet, they're gonna do what they did before, is the
Oh yeah.
adrenaline is up and you can't really get a sense through a physical exam. So
Yeah.
your observations and the language that you use is helpful for them. So you can say that he's guarding his body, he's flinched sometimes when we pick him up. And as
Hmm.
far as GI things that the stools are more dry lately. Sometimes for Arthur, they're more runny. It's just inconsistent.
Yeah.
The weight gain for Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe was eating his poop for a while. So just to be like, okay, can we explore pain and what might be going on there? And then
Yeah.
GI, can we explore what's going on there? And they might need to be done separately
Yeah.
based on what they feel is more relevant. If we change too many things at once, sometimes it's hard to tell what's helping, right? But in
Yeah.
terms of just getting to the root of it, and again, there may not be anything to it. It might just be stress GI stuff. But
Yeah.
knowing that it's not a physical medical thing is going to be helpful as a rule out so we can be like, cool, it's just behavior and we can work on that. But otherwise, we're kind of fighting an uphill battle if it's something medical going on because we're just trying
Yeah.
to mask it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, okay, you didn't mention anything about it. Let me just ask, just for the sake of it, do they have any skin issues, like itching, licking, scratching?
So Gabe sometimes is a little bit obsessive of like licking and that was significant before the um oh my
Before
God,
the Prozac?
Prozac, yeah, and that has like subsided. And then
Okay.
like he just has, I think he's like a long hair, but it's like there's almost like a double coat. So it's like I have to just like keep him really well brushed and like de-shed him because I think it just gets very thick and heavy for him. And he loves to be brushed. So
Good. Okay.
um yeah, that has subsided. And there's no like it's with Gabe, it's sometimes he will get at licking his paws, and now that I'm saying that, he literally has been doing it this week again. It's not consistent, and it's feel like it's been just ramping up. That was very significant before the Prozac, and is not as much now. But there's no sore spots. There's no bald spots. There's nothing that they're doing to the point of like harming himself. And then
Okay.
Arthur, nothing.
Okay. And if Gabe's licking got better after the Prozac and it's ramping up now, I mean, it's springtime. I wonder if it's like seasonal
Allergies.
allergy
Yeah,
related.
true.
So
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that's a good call out. I think we had
another thing to mention.
Yeah, like we had explored this with my vet because this was one of those things like you're saying. It's sort of like it could be one of a bunch of things. So let's try the one
Yeah.
thing and then it goes away. And it's like, but now it's actually that was over winter. So he was wearing boots and it wasn't green and all this stuff. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if there haven't been any changes like to his main diet
Yeah.
recently to account for that. But it's
I
good to
mean,
hear that there's otherwise not any obvious like hair loss and rashes and that sort of
right.
stuff. Okay.
No.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think all of that is great, and I'll make sure to include this in our training worksheet too, that we should probably get checked out with the vet is one of our first points of next steps. Okay. Coming back to the behavior things. Uh, oh, and as far as medical stuff, that the fact that the lorazepam makes them a little sleepy, I think is also noteworthy to let them know,
Yeah.
just in case there's something different. Does it work? Does the lorazepam work for what you use it
Listen,
for?
Gabe, yes. Arthur, if he's too um, Arthur's fine with like the fireworks to calm down. If his favorite people are here, it's like nope, doesn't matter. Just like it's might as well not even be on deck, you
Okay.
know. So
So
yeah,
it
his
doesn't always
adrenaline wins
work.
out every
Okay,
time.
to know. That's also good information for them.
Yeah,
And that's the tough thing about those medications is they have to work so much harder when they're already like aroused.
yeah,
So if you can catch it in advance, that's usually the goal is to give like 1 to 2 hours before the big
yeah.
thing happens. But I mean, life is life and we don't always catch it in time.
Honestly,
Okay,
like I wonder. I mean, I'm also just thinking like getting a thunder shirt for Arthur when people are here might help him too. Like maybe that he just needs like a little bit of the input because he wants to be touched. So like
sure.
it's worth trying it.
Something to try. I mean, Gabe liked it. So,
Yeah,
okay. Good to know. Okay. So in terms of their behaviors, like the things that are driving us bonkers, the things that are challenging for us now, we have the barking constantly, just all of the barking inside. We have the reactivity outside, and we have house soiling issues because they're
yeah,
peeing on the rug inside.
yeah.
Now, it's not that they have to all be treated separately, but in terms of like your priorities, is it just like you've listed them? Like the barking is your big priority, and then the reactivity, and then the house soiling?
Um, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're gonna deal with them all, right? So yes, the barking
Yeah.
to me, but I also think it's like if there's a recommendation in terms of what your experience is for sort of whatever the sequencing is to address things in the right way, like it's all one and the same for me. Just
Okay.
whatever the
Yeah.
recommendation is.
Yeah. And some of the things that we'll implement will be helpful in different areas. So
Yeah.
it might help with the barking, it might help with the reactivity outside, right? So it's not that they're all in their separate categories. The one that might be so a little bit is the house soiling.
Hmm.
And that one, I mean, can go up or down the list depending on how much you care. I know that you're going to be moving to a different
Yeah.
place and that we want to try to get ahead of it then.
I mean, I'm like
So,
literally having the paying to have my floors redone there because like, and I'm just like, oh my God, like what if they just start peeing on my floor or he just starts peeing on my floor? I'm not going to put rugs down. I refuse to use the pads, like the puppy pads. I'll do
okay,
a diaper, but I'm like, is it, that's one of the maybe that's like as long as we get to that before I move, like that's a goal. But I think the barking is like the one that's like making me actively stressed out myself every day.
sure.
So that might be
Okay.
like the first start.
In terms of tacking on things that we mentioned to your vet, have
Yeah.
you told them about the dog's peeing inside?
Yes. And it's like we've tried all, done all the testing. Like they're so fully up to speed. There's been no like UTI concerns, nothing of that
Okay.
nature.
Okay.
And it's just like they've kind of chalked it up to behavioral.
Okay. When was the last time that they had their urine tested? Like a year? It doesn't need to be exact.
I mean, is that like a regular, do they do that one every time or is that only when there's someone sick?
Uh, they'll usually, it depends on why they're sick. Usually they don't do it when they're sick. Usually it's just blood work. Otherwise, the urinalysis is usually once a year with like preventative blood work.
Okay. So then whatever within the last year then.
Okay. So I can assume all that came out fine then if they
Mhm.
didn't mention anything to you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And this has always been going on like since you adopted them?
Like, yes, Arthur was like destroyed a couch when he was young. So it's gotten better. And it's one of those things where like my ex-husband like wanted to put a rug down and I'm like, no, the dogs are gonna pee on it. And he's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And then you sort of discover, oh yeah, he's just been peeing on it this whole time and just we didn't notice it right away. So these the only rugs in my house. Arthur will not pee on anything unless there's a rug. Gabe,
Gotcha.
so like Arthur's just like, oh, there's a rug, I'm going on that. Then with Gabe, it's like he seems to just he came in and it was significantly worse. He was peeing everywhere. Like I had him in a diaper all the time. I've been trying to do very positive, like, yay, like reinforcement outside when he pees.
Hmm.
But it's not and this is just as an aside, like this is one of my thoughts about moving into my new place. I would love to not just have the dogs have free reign in the backyard of like peeing and pooping everywhere. I've heard of people making these sort of like patterns where it's like they only go outside to pee and poop with you in the same spot, and you like you just wait till they do it there and go. I don't know how realistic that is, but I'm like I would totally try that to try and like establish sort of like this is where you do the thing. It's not all over my yard. It's not everywhere on the walk. You just you do it and then you walk or something. That's like been in my head of like, is that something worth trying? Um, but yeah, so like Gabe, like it was very bad. He's gotten better, but now it seems to be very much stress induced. Or
Yeah,
like if I'm not going to bed at the right time that he wants me, like he can get a little bit. It's like there's like it's like not understanding what's going on. Or, like something happened the other day where like got up, got out of bed and went to go let him out. And he instead of going out, he just went to the dining room and peed on the floor. And like that was unexpected. Like it's like it was like a second too long or something to get outside. So it's inconsistent. But I don't have the diaper on him anymore because I think it was making him itch around his, it's just like all of
sure.
the things. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just Arthur peeing on the rugs or Arthur and Gabe are.
So you don't always see it.
No, no, I never see
Okay.
Arthur do it. It just happens. All of a sudden, the rug is wet. I'm just like, seriously?
And it's
So,
just
Gabe,
that one rug,
yeah,
nowhere else.
because there's no other for Arthur. And then Gabe will be like randomly in the middle of the walkway in the like kitchen.
So for Gabe, it'll be in different places, and we're
Yeah,
suspecting Arthur is the one doing it on the rug. And Gabe
yeah,
might also do it on the rug, but Gabe is the one to do it in other places.
right.
Okay. What are you, when it happens, what are you using to clean it after the fact?
Simple green, like the pet safe, like simple green or whatever.
Okay. Is it an enzymatic cleaner?
I
Do
don't
you know?
think it is actually. Well, oh,
Okay.
meaning like the rug or the, so maybe that's
The
what,
cleaner itself.
no, it's just, I don't think it is. I don't
Okay.
know.
That's okay. I can send you a link for one. Enzymatic cleaner. So when dogs urinate inside, they're releasing pheromones,
Yeah.
and it's going to be really attractive to them. Be like, yeah, those are my pheromones, so this is my spot. So if we just, that's why they keep doing it because they smell their pheromones. So an enzymatic cleaner is going to be better at getting rid of those pheromones just in general. So in terms of cleanup action, that's one thing you can do to see if it helps. Doesn't
Okay.
help the behavior necessarily. It just helps to kind of, it's the management
Yes.
of let's set up the environment to prevent the problem situation from even happening in the first place, and then we'll worry about the behavior part of it. I like the concept of, you mentioned that you tried rewarding them when they potty
Hmm.
outside. That's exactly how like we start off with regular potty training is every time they go outside. As soon as they pee, they get some high value treat that they really like, be like, oh my God, you're such a good boy. And then we go back
Hmm.
inside. The I think key to getting ahead of it when that's gone off the rails a little bit is to reestablish, okay, what's going on? Like, do you have to
Hmm.
go more often? So if it's feasible, I know you work from home, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
depending on your schedule and how it works, to try to take them out more often, to be like, okay, we're for sure going out first thing in the morning. We're
Hmm.
sure going to go out like 10 minutes after we eat, anytime after we take a nap, anytime after like they play together, like, run around or anything.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like they're
Anytime
like
there's been like some big
yeah.
overstimulation, we should go
Okay.
out after that, right? Um, and it might help to keep, I know you don't always see it, but it might help to keep a log to try to figure out, is there a trend? Like, are there certain times of day or is there
Yeah.
something going on where you hear, a fire truck, and on that day it tended to be where we're peeing on the rug, like just to see if we can pinpoint any patterns at all that might help
Yeah.
us with the management of it.
Okay.
So I think those things might be helpful in terms of just starting out, if we need to down the line, and we'll circle back to this later, but if we need to be like, okay, we really need to get to the bottom of who's peeing on this rug and when and why, we can also block off an area, like block
Hmm.
off their access to the part of the house where they're peeing, and then just kind of start from scratch, being like, okay, I need eyes on you at all times, and we're going to go in and out. That way I always have control. Wherever that rug is set up, is it feasible to block their access to that rug right now or no?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the rug next to the back door where they go out to go to the bathroom. So like it's
Ah,
yeah,
okay. So it's like on their way out.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And well, you don't see it happen all the time. So I don't know if sometimes you said sometimes it's when they come back in.
I don't know. Like I'm like, is
Okay.
Arthur just like getting up? Because he also we don't free feed, but there's always water out. And like
Hmm.
which I'm like, I drink water all day long. I want my dogs to have that access, right? And I know that
Yeah.
people have suggested that, like, oh, just limit the water. I'm like, that feels cruel, but okay. But the I don't know. It's like, I mean, yeah, maybe I just need to have like eyes on them all the time. Like, because Arthur will get up and walk around. He'll just do his thing. So maybe he's like getting water and then literally just going to pee. Who knows? I don't know.
Okay.
Gabe tends to be my little Velcro dog. Like he's literally here right now.
Hmm.
Arthur is like he'll do his own thing, especially if the blinds are open. He's like on duty, you know?
That okay. Yeah, and that was going to be one of the other things we talk about. Okay. Yeah, I think for now, if you can block access to the rug or just remove it. I like rugs in general. I like tread because I like for dogs to have traction,
Right.
right? Especially for dogs that have knee and back issues, because if they're slipping and sliding everywhere,
Yeah.
that's going to be worse for their
Yeah.
physical health. So I do like the idea of rugs or yoga mats or whatever so that they have traction. But I think getting to tease out who is doing this. Is it mostly Arthur? Is it mostly Gabe? Around what times of the day is it? Around what context? Like just gathering more data, I
Yeah.
think will be helpful. So maybe just starting a potty log to start with
Yeah.
and rewarding them when they do go outside, rewarding them, be like, this is where you should be going is a good start, wherever they go in the yard right now. Like the point
Yeah.
is just go outdoors as opposed to indoors.
Yeah.
And if you do happen to catch them indoors, don't call any attention to it. It sucks. And the first thing
Yeah.
you want to do is be like, stop. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. Just calmly clean it up and be like, great, we're gonna move on. Otherwise, if we say anything or use a punishment, even in the heat of the moment, it can they can have mixed feelings about it and cause them to maybe do it more. And
Yeah.
we want to not have that be the case. Okay,
Yeah.
so as far as that stuff goes, maybe we just start off with that. Does that sound reasonable? And then we'll
Mhm.
see what we come up with from there. Okay,
That's great.
we'll just start with a potty log for that. Okay. Um, so as far as the other behaviors, and you mentioned the barking and you mentioned his perch, Arthur's perch to look out the window. So I know that you'll have probably a different setup in your new place, right? But for now, one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that we can do to help with that is block his view from that window.
Yep.
So we can do that multiple ways. We can either, if the window is here and it's in a room, we can block his access to the room.
Mm-hmm.
We can draw the blinds or the shades. You probably can't see it on that window over there. I have window film. So I have window frosting on there because my dog likes to sit on that couch and bark out that window. So that window film is there to blur her vision a bit more. So she's far less likely to notice if a dog is passing by
Yeah,
because
that's a great
nothing
idea.
can pass by our house without her needing to bark about it.
Right.
So,
Right. And it's like I
right,
love having the light when the shades are drawn. So yeah, the window
right.
film's a good idea. And it's
And it's
also
in
obviously temporary.
Yes, and it's a relatively inexpensive fix. You can get it like on Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, like wherever, and you can cut it to size. You can reuse it. So when you get to your new place, depending on your
Mm-hmm.
setup, you can also take it there. I've also used it on, depending on the setup in your new house or this one, patio doors. So on like
Mm.
the bottom half.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Like for if, because there's a glass door going out, like getting ready for walks. If that's open or a dog is walking past, when I open it, it's like meltdown.
Yeah,
So that's a good idea.
yep. So you can put it to the bottom half, if that's like where they can reach. If you think that they're going to be stressed about seeing things above, sure, make it higher, like if they're barking at the humans or whatever. But
Mhm.
if it's mostly the dogs that they're getting all riled up about, at least like the bottom half, I think would be
Yeah.
sufficient for them. So all of this is, I'm saying it again, management.
Mhm.
Management, we're changing the environment around us to prevent the problem behavior from happening in the first place. So
Mhm.
we're not doing anything with Gabe or Arthur like with their behavior. We're just changing the setup of the environment to set them up for success.
Yeah.
Because basically, the more opportunities they have to bark out the door or bark out the window, the better at it they're going to get
Yeah.
because practice makes perfect, right? So we have to remove that as a possibility just to stop the practice. It doesn't mean that we're fixing anything because we're not. We're
Right.
just preventing them from doing it. And then eventually we can onboard some skills of this is how you learn to cope with things. This is how you de-stress. We can counter
Mhm.
condition to the sight of people so it's not as arousing, but this is a good stopgap for the meantime to be like, let's calm down and prevent you from doing the thing we don't want you doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Good
that's
idea.
an option for the barking. The the other thing I thought of, because you mentioned that Gabe is because he's more reactive to sounds, is to try out sound masking.
Yeah.
So when you're at home, you probably can't hear it behind me. I have a white noise machine playing.
Done that for him.
Okay, how did that
Yeah.
work? Tell me about that.
It's good. It's just because like we live, I mean, I'm in the city. It's a bungalow. Everyone's very close. It's also very easy to hear sounds from like anywhere, and it can be very quiet indoors. So yeah, it's worked really well. It's just I have to get the other person in the house on that. So
Gotcha. Okay. So it might be temporary for now, even if it's a struggle right now. Certainly when you're in your own place, you'll
yeah,
have more control, right? I think for now, if you can have any luck in deciding on what is a reasonable sound that everyone finds, if not enjoyable, least aversive,
yeah.
right?
I think I did like classical calming music for dogs, and that seemed to be like it's not just like the whoosh, at least there's like a little bit of invariance too, because I think,
Yeah.
so that one I think there might be some receptibility to.
Okay. Great. And every dog is different
Yes.
and every human is different on what they like and what they can tolerate. I like white noise, but one of my coworkers thinks that that sounds like nails on a chalkboard
Yeah.
for them. And
Yeah.
then
Kurt.
they play Cartoon Network in the background
Oh
because
my
that's
God.
fine. I'm like, that would drive me bananas. I can't with that. I would be so anxious listening to that all day. So do what works for the humans and the dog. It's twofold. So the sound masking can work to just do that, mask the sounds, and or if it has a calming effect, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like, but it doesn't always have to. I think for purposes for now, for Gabe especially, let's just try to mask the sound. You
Okay.
can also think of strategic placement. If he's usually barking at things out the window, maybe
Hmm.
whatever the device is close to the window.
Yeah.
Or if he's barking at things in the hallway to the building, maybe it's by the front door.
Yeah.
So maybe more strategic placement on where it is might help with that so that he's not repeating that behavior, just barking at all of the things. And I think if you help with one dog to reduce the barking, it's probably going to help the other dog because they
Yeah.
tend to feed off of each other, it sounds like.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Those are both great ideas.
Okay. Let's see. So that's the barking. I wanted to see if I had any other questions about what they were barking at. With people coming inside because they get super, super happy about that. From just like a day-to-day standpoint, it doesn't sound like that happens super often, like when you have people coming over.
So here's how the day to day, how this manifests. There's two things. One is like if I'm coming home or anyone coming home, like Kurt coming home, me coming home,
Got it.
the
Okay.
barking is starting from outside. And then when Arthur realizes it's me, he's like, okay, cool, it's you. We're good. Gabe is literally just like bark, 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 bark. Even as I'm coming the door, I'm like, it's okay, it's me. Bark, 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 bark. It's like hey, and then I eventually like say hi to him and, so, and I've tried everything, not coming inside until they quit barking. Seems to literally never stop. I'm like, I don't know what my move is here, like,
Okay. Okay.
so then also just like with the people coming in the door, yes, Arthur loses his mind in a good way, wants to be best friends. Gabe thinks it's that we're being attacked and that Arthur is trying to defend us. And then Gabe goes on the offensive and has literally nipped people's knees. He's not biting them, but it's like, the way the 11-pound dog knows to do, just like, and I mean, I don't want that in any way,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Okay. Have you ever tried offering them treats when you come in, and would they eat treats?
they would probably eat treats. What I've not tried it because in my mind it was like rewarding them for barking me inside, but I wasn't
Gotcha.
sure.
Okay.
Like that was kind of like I was like, are they going to be like, I'm going to bark until I get my treat now?
Yeah. Good. And that's a fair thought to have. So one of the things that we can experiment with is, so we don't want them barking.
hmm
What do we want them to do instead?
I mean,
And
right.
the answer can't be not barking. It
Right.
has to be something else.
So it's like, right. I'm just like, I don't know, sit and wait patiently for me to come and say hi to them. Like that's like
Okay.
in my head. So I don't know if that's the reasonable answer.
Okay, sure. Then let's work off of that, right?
Yeah.
Because for everything, every behavior that they're doing that we don't want them to doing, we have to think, what would I rather they do? Let's teach them how to do that. Instead of
Yeah.
focusing on just correcting this, let's just teach them what we want to do. Let's pay attention to that. So,
Yep.
okay, we want them to be quiet somewhere, enjoying something else, and just waiting patiently until you're like ready to like take your coat off and get settled and then love on them, right? I think that's reasonable, right? You
Yeah.
just had a long day, you're coming back. Okay. Let's back up then. In order for them to do that, we'll need a few skills, and we can start by making this a little bit easy on us. They're both food motivated
hmm
for the most part. They eat treats. Let's see. Have you done things like puzzles or lick mats or Kongs, any of those types of things with them?
Yes. I haven't done lick mats. I've tried Kongs. We've done Kongs. It's like and those little like chewies that you put like the hard things in so they can like chew on them. They love those. They love the greenie. Like they're really into treats for sure.
Okay. I'm looking for something that is not just a treat, like a one and done, and you just take a bite, like a few bites and you
Right.
swallow it. I want something they can work on.
Right.
So
Okay.
we tend to call these long-term calming projects
Okay.
because it's more long-term than just I gave you a snack and we're done. I like a licky mat. I
Yeah.
want you to be at this for a couple minutes
Yep.
and working on that independently, or a Kong, because again,
Yeah.
it's going to take a few minutes for you to work on that. I will send you some examples of things that you can test out or try. It doesn't need to be stuff that you don't need to spend a whole lot of money. You can like DIY a lot of
Yeah.
these things with stuff you have at home. My dogs are lickers, chewers, and shredders. So
hmm
every dog is different on where they fall along that spectrum. So you can experiment with like different things in different categories to see, number one, do they engage with it?
hmm
Like how long does it last if they do? And what happens afterwards? Does it make them more ramped up? Or does it help them be like, oh, okay, that was fun. Now I'm just gonna chill. That's
Right.
more of what I want. I mean, some bonus things might be you might see them less triggered by their usual stuff.
Yeah.
Like in general, you might see that they're able to recover faster, or maybe their reactions are less intense.
Yeah.
Mostly, I want to see them just being relaxed with the thing they're engaging with. So if you can, I'd say for now, experiment with different types of things.
Yeah.
And once you find stuff that they like, just keep a mental inventory of cool. They like these kinds of things. I'm going to rotate through these. And I
Yep.
would aim to give each of the dogs one of those long-term calming projects once a day,
Okay.
even if the only time that you use it is for coming home. I would prefer that you also do it at other times, not just coming home, so that they don't just associate that with the coming home. Like this
Yep.
can be also at other times of day, but you can also test this out for when you come home. That being
Um,
said, yeah,
okay.
did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna how do I separate them in terms of like, because sometimes
Hmm.
Arthur can get a little bit like, oh, I want that too. Like he has literally gone and taken things from Gabe and then gone and he piles it, like the one
Okay,
thing I have where you stuff it and it's a little bit longer term. So
good
just make,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is a good thing to test out when you're experimenting with the types of long-term calming projects. How do we need to separate them if they
Hmm.
need to be separated, right? So do they need to be in different rooms? Do we need to think about setting up like a baby gate somewhere and being like, no, there needs to be a physical barrier to really prevent any altercation because I want safety
Yeah.
first, right?
Yeah.
So do I need to leave you in this room and close the door? Are they okay with that? Right?
Right.
Like kind of tease that out, but ideally I would prefer that they are not right next to each other because that's just stressful, right?
Yeah.
That they be at least across the room from one another on their own project working on them. And if you feel like that's going to escalate, then great. Then we'll have to circle back to let's think of getting them each their own location, which we
Hmm.
can talk about today
Yeah.
or we can talk about next time. The goal with this though is being like, okay, I'm going to have this thing prepared in advance, whatever the thing is. Maybe I'm going to leave it stored in the freezer, like a frozen Kong or a frozen
Hmm.
lick mat. And then I'm going to come home. They're going to be bananas. But even though they're bananas, I'm going to just ignore them while they're going bananas. I'm going to take their treats out. I'm going to be like, Arthur, here you go. Come over here. Gabe, here you go. Let them work on their thing. So
Hmm.
I want this, whatever the thing is, to be high value enough that they're gonna want to go work on it in a moment when they're really highly aroused because they
Okay.
don't yet have the skills to not be that aroused. Not yet,
Okay.
anyway.
So it's like it's starting to reassociate versus like fix it in the moment. Is that
Correct.
sort of like we're not gonna like be like wait until you're calm and then you get your treat. It's more just like I literally just go give it to them even if they're still losing their minds.
If they're,
And
yeah,
then okay,
I think that's okay. Right now, if you are gonna wait until they're done losing their minds, you might be waiting a while. And we
literally.
could certainly try that, but what will
No.
happen is it's gonna get worse before it gets better because
Yeah.
right now they're like, this has worked for me. Like I bark and usually mom gives me some form of attention, whether
Right.
that's again saying be quiet or just go, whatever the thing is, we give them some attention inadvertently without realizing it. So when we stop doing that, they're going to be like, hey, this used to work for me. It's not working.
Yeah.
Let me do more of it. Let me do
Yeah.
it louder and more intensely. So usually it gets worse before it gets better. So
Hmm.
I like to redirect when I can. If they had the ability to respond to something you were asking them to do, you come in and be like, okay, let's do like some trick trainings real quick before I give you the treat. Sure. Just based on your description of how over aroused they are, I don't know
Hmm.
if they have the brain space for that. So I
Okay.
think if you ask them to do something, they're not gonna they're not going to do it because they can't
Yeah.
hear you. They're
Yeah.
so like over threshold that they're not listening. So I think
Yeah.
for now, just being like, go over here, do these things, work on that. Eventually, these long-term calming projects will be something that will help them calm down. And again, you can use them at other times of day. And we'll work on just general skills of how to deregulate and not go bananas as much. Or if you're going to go bananas, because honestly, I don't mind when my dogs go bananas when I come home. I love them too.
Right.
And I'm like, I miss you so much.
Yeah.
However, I also want you to calm down within a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
So that's the key. So these can be the bridge to help us get to that point. Does that help?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also that like, hey, I'm about to be a single woman living alone. Like, I don't mind my dogs losing their minds at someone new coming in. Like, I don't want Gabe to
Yeah,
just sit down and be like, oh,
fair.
whatever. Like, there is
Yeah.
that, like, I get that, but like understanding when it's time to not do that or to listen better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll work on that eventually for all the other skills, like for people coming in the house, like, or people passing by. I don't
Hmm.
mind, same as you. I don't mind that my dogs are barking when someone's in my driveway because I'm like, who's that? Yeah, I'm
Right.
concerned too. But I would like them to stop barking when I have determined we're safe, the coast is clear.
Right.
Thank you very
Right.
much. Let's move on to something else. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we can absolutely work on those skills.
Okay. Love that. Because I was
So
like, I don't, yeah,
that,
exactly that. I was like, I mean, there is a certain benefit to having Gabe who literally is like the full alert, right? Like Arthur's like, great, let's be friends. Intruder? Okay, let's be friends. But Gabe would be like, no, hell no. I'm gonna bite your
right.
knees off. Okay,
And
cool.
that's the thing, is it's different for both of them. And
Yeah.
here's the other thing I'll circle back to is that just because Arthur's stress is like happy stress and
Yeah.
Gabe's is not,
Still
both
stressed.
are still stress. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the body's
It's
hormones
overstimulated.
doesn't care. To the
Yeah.
body, it's just stress hormones, whether
Listen,
they're
I had
good
ADHD.
or bad.
Heard. I get
Right.
it.
So keeping
Yeah.
them under baseline is ideal. I'm gonna bring up this chart. I'm gonna send this to you, but I like to bring this up just to give you a general idea of what I mean when I keep saying that I need them to be under threshold, or that's our goal is for them to stay
Hmm.
under threshold. Let me share my screen real quick. That way you can see this a little bit easier. Share screen. Okay. You should see a screen in front of you, and this is a chart called the Spectrum of Canine Fear, Anxiety, and Stress. It's made by
Hmm.
the wonderful people over at Fear Free. I like this chart because it gives a very nice visual of not only the body language behaviors that we'll see when a dog is relaxed, moderately stressed, and severely stressed. It gives me a color coding. It's like a stoplight. So green is relaxed, yellow is we're moderately stressed, red is severe. We want learning and thinking to happen when we're in this green zone.
Hmm.
This is what we're looking for. That's when true learning and thinking takes place. When they are over threshold and the red is over threshold, they can't think. They literally can't. All they can think is fight or flight or freeze, or like they just can't process things. So I like that just to show that visual. The other reason I like this is to circle back to just how much body language is going to be important when
Hmm.
we're developing new skills for both Arthur and Gabe. So when we say things like Arthur is super stressed, like he's super aroused, technically that's not body language behavior, right? What
Right.
does aroused mean? Because aroused can mean something different to you, to me than it does to you, than it does to that person, than it does to your vet. But if we say Arthur's pupils are dilated, his ears
Hmm.
are back, or his tail is straight up, his tail is stiff, any of those are descriptions of body language. We are observing what we are seeing with our eyes instead of the stories that we're telling us behind them. So instead of saying Gabe is scared, Gabe's maybe, like, let's take this for example. Maybe his ears are back, his tail
Hmm.
is tucked, he's actively trying to escape, his tongue is tight instead of loose outside of his mouth. Those are beautiful descriptions of body language and what's happening. And especially because we'll be working virtually together, your observations of their body language like this and how you communicate that to me is super helpful in determining, are we headed in the right direction or not? Are we headed in the right way to be like, we are going from being super aroused to less aroused, or, going up the ladder? So that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about
So,
next. Any questions about that chart before I talk about the
well,
next
it's
thing?
interesting because reading that, like, I'm seeing like Gabe has a very hard time on our walks, and like that, he is in
Ah,
true that mode. Like, he's in red zone during walks often, not
okay.
always, but often.
Okay. And that's with the Prozac.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next time that you are on a walk, or at least maybe for the next week, this is good opportunity for you to collect data to
Okay.
be like, what am I seeing?
Yeah.
And how often am I seeing it on walks? Because if it's only on walks, that's good to know. How often are we going on walks? Because here's where my brain is going. The purpose of the medication, like the Prozac, is to help keep him under threshold and
Hmm.
not up in that red zone. So if he's still up in that red zone and we need to go on walks every single day, so we can't avoid it. So he's going to be exposed to
Hmm.
this every single day, multiple times a day. maybe we need to either adjust the dose of the Prozac if able, or do we need to incorporate maybe another medication into the mix to
Mm-hmm.
find a better cocktail to keep
Mm-hmm.
him under that threshold? So when you're communicating that to your vet, you can be like, this is why I think we need to perhaps revisit our Prozac plan. I'm
Yeah.
seeing ears back constantly, tail tucked
Yeah.
on walks, and this is how often it's happening. That is the data that they're looking for to help them assess if they should make a change. That was an excellent observation.
Man, this is like, I'm so glad that I found you guys. It's
Good.
really like, and it's funny because all of my friends have dogs and everyone's got some issue with them. And it's like we've
Yeah.
all tried so many different approaches, like different trainers and whatnot. And then like the vet just saying like do a behaviorist is like this is the way. It's so much
Yeah.
less about just like we're gonna come and train it out of them and get them on the leash, around their mouth. I'm like something's not landing. So this is great.
Right. I like starting with the foundational things because whilst a lot of this may not feel like we're not addressing like the root of it yet. Well, you're right, we're not. They don't have the skills, but I can't ask Arthur or Gabe right now to do a college level skill
Yeah.
if they haven't gone through first grade.
And
Like
they're
that's
not
just not
regulated.
fair.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not
That's
regulated.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not setting you up for success or them up for success. So I like to start with these foundations and body language observation is the foundation for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Literally absolutely everything. And you never become like master and you're done learning about it. I am always learning about body language because it's
Yeah.
so nuanced. Like, so
Yeah.
even for professionals, there's always room for growth there. So, one other thing that I wanted to point out, because I'm going to send you a lot of resources on body language. I
Okay.
don't want you to become overwhelmed at the
Yeah.
volume of stuff. That stuff, look at it at your leisure and kind of go, because I have some stuff that are videos, I have some stuff that's articles, I have some stuff that's pictures. Go to the medium that works best for how you learn,
Yeah.
pick and choose. The rest you can kind of visit over time, but there are a few things that I want you to focus on specifically. And so that's what I want to talk about next. So again, don't get overwhelmed when you see all of the resources available, but in terms of what I think is going to be most helpful for Arthur and Gabe. So that chart that I just showed you, which I'll send you, has like you're going from the green to the yellow to the red, right? And it had associated
Hmm.
body language behaviors. One of the things that I'd like for you to do that is going to be helpful in getting us to know specifically for Arthur and for Gabe, what it looks like for them is to complete what we call their ladder of escalation worksheet. So I'm going to share this with you now so you can see what I mean as we talk about that. Maybe.
And if it's okay, can we try and end about 5 minutes early? I have another meeting right after this. I
Yeah.
just want to give myself a
Yeah.
minute.
And you need a break in between?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't imagine that you need a break. Let's see, because you went from your other meeting right into this one. So I know those days.
Hmm.
I'll go through these quickly. So basically, this is a worksheet showing a ladder of escalation, meaning these are the body language behaviors I see when we are relaxed. And then you'll usually start to see what happens as they start to get aroused. So,
Hmm.
for example, my dog, let's say number one is going to be her just sleeping.
Hmm.
She's sleeping. And then if she's going to wake up, she's going to be alert. What does that mean? Her eyes are open, her ears are to the side, her body language is still loose. So you kind of get the idea. And eventually, if she's getting, let's say we're at a walk, we're too close to threshold, maybe her tail is in a more neutral position, but going up, her ears are more forward. And you can start listing all of these body language behaviors. And when she's over threshold, her tail is curved right to her back, her tail is stiff. She's usually barking. She's usually lunging. Like that gives you an idea of what her body language signals are, and it gives you good practice in just observing them for each individual dog. On the flip side of that, you can also do this for what it looks like when they are de-escalating. So coming
Hmm.
down the ladder. So this is them going up, and I'll send you another example of what it looks like for them to come down the ladder, and it's the same thing pretty much. where we're seeing what it looks like in reverse because we're usually as humans, we're really good about knowing Arthur's getting worked up, he's getting worked up. Okay, he's over, he's over. What we're not as good about is noticing what it looks like when they're starting to calm down.
Mhm.
And that's going to be helpful when we work on self-regulation skills, like relaxation training and stuff like that. So for now, all I want you to do is look at, and this will show you, this is an example here, what it looks like when they're escalating or
Mhm.
de-escalating. And I'll send you all of this that you can look at a little bit more closely, but it helps you get a better idea of, for Arthur, this is what it looks like. For Gabe, this is what it looks like, and paint a picture of their overall body language. Any
That's
questions on that?
No, that's super helpful. I do want to just ask two things. One is, do you have like an app or a chart or something that I can just plug into for like logging things that's just like a good worksheet for that? I just something that's going to be able to either print it out and mark it up. I have ADHD. I will get very lost in trying to find the perfect solution. So if there's one handed to me, that's perfect.
Yeah, I don't
um,
I don't have one that's like canned and ready to go just because of
yeah,
that. Everyone works differently. So
yeah,
there's some
fair.
people that would prefer, they hate spreadsheets. So they're going to
Yeah,
be pen and paper people. And there's some people that are spreadsheet people. So
right.
you can do it however you want. If you were going to be a spreadsheet person, I would
Hmm.
too. That's just how I
Hmm.
would work. I would create a spreadsheet and it depends on what you're logging, right? We've talked about logging the potty
Hmm.
behaviors. We've talked about honestly, you can track whatever you want on your log. You can track the
Yeah,
barking, right? You can be like, how intense was the barking? Don't have to make it super complicated. You can make it like, this is the day. This is
yeah,
the number of triggers. This is how intense I think they were. Give the day a score. Like we
yeah,
had a really good day, or this was a horrible day, and anywhere in between. And then maybe some brief notes on why you gave that score. Okay, we
yeah,
lunged at a dog on a walk. The cleaner came in and we went bananas, or
yeah.
whatever it is. That is super helpful to help us track our progress over time
Okay.
because it's probably going to look like we're making slow progress over time, but when you go back and look at it, you're going to be like, oh my God, we've made so much progress. And it's going to be
Yeah.
such a good feeling.
Yeah. Today was cleaning day, so I have that immediately in my memory too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. So there's lots of different ways you can make a log, but yes, I do agree that that's a good idea. Okay. So in the interest of not giving you a million things to do and in the interest of time to let you
Mhm.
out a few minutes early. So let me circle back to see if we've covered, I think, what we wanted to convey for today. As far as management, which is setting up the environment to
Yeah.
prevent the problem behaviors, we're gonna put up the window film.
Yep.
We'll try sound masking,
Hmm.
maybe strategically placed. We're going to play around with what kind of music will help. Um, I think for now, continue. You were already trying to avoid dogs on walks, like crossing the
Hmm.
street and stuff. Continue doing that.
Yeah.
Depending on your bandwidth and your time, one of the things you can think about, like on weekends when you have time, is getting them in the car and driving them some other place that's more quiet for a walk. I
Yeah.
have to do that with my dogs. So, but that's only if you have the time and if they do okay in the car. So,
Gabe gets very anxious in the car, but Arthur's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So pick and choose
But
your
there's
battles
plenty of
there, but
places around here. The forest preserve, like we could even,
oh,
I can
good.
even think of like going places that I know there will not be dogs. So I think there's
Yeah,
opportunity.
great. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll send you some examples for the long-term calming projects so you can trial and eval some of
Perfect.
those for setting them up. Um, we'll keep a potty log, reward them when they go potty outside. And I think just focusing on their body language, like just learning what that's like, because then we can pick things up from there once we have a pretty good understanding of this is what it looks like for Gabe, this is what it looks like for Arthur. And then
Yeah.
maybe most importantly, touching base with your vet
Yeah.
about all of
Right.
the stuff.
I
About
think in the three, I know we probably have to schedule or talk about the next meeting. I just,
Mhm.
if there's one behavior sort of modification or just like getting management of people coming in the door, like if we have guests coming over, like what would that, like getting them out of the room? Just like what's the better move there in
Yeah,
terms of, okay.
for now, for a quick strategy, Meaning, well, yeah, since we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it in great detail, I think your safest bet for now is to either keep them in another like room with those long-term calming projects so they have
Yep.
something to do when people are coming in.
Yeah.
So you know people are coming in. Do not have them ring the bell, knock, ask them to text you. Like
Mhm.
try to avoid any other association to the sound at the door. So if someone's coming over, they text you, they're like, we're on our way up, then awesome. You go get that frozen Kong or lick mat out of the freezer. You take the
Mhm.
dogs into, let's say, a bedroom or the office. You have them both there. This is assuming we know they can be in the same room,
Mhm.
right? From your troubleshooting, close the door. The people, you can even have sound masking on in there so that they
Mhm.
can't hear the people coming in, and
Yep.
then let the people come in, let them get situated, and then you can let the dogs out.
Yeah.
So if they're still, they should hopefully be less riled up than they would be, but they'll probably still be riled up.
Right.
For no matter what, I would reinforce 4 on the floor.
Okay.
So the dogs can't get pet unless they have all 4 feet on the floor.
Good.
Okay. And then
Yep.
the other part of it is just, especially for Gabe, if he doesn't want to be pet, that people honor his petting consent.
Yep.
Does
Yeah.
petting consent sound
Yes.
familiar? Have you heard of that? Okay.
Absolutely. I have, yes, very much so.
Okay. So and that's again where body language observation skills come in. You Not all of your friends and family or people you come over are going to know dog body language. So that's going
Yeah.
to be on you to monitor, to be like, actually, Gabe is not showing signals that he wants to be pet right now. So
Yeah.
maybe just don't. I
Yeah.
would not have them offer treats to Gabe to try to like win him over. That's going to create a source of conflict. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
There's lots of other strategies we can use to help that situation grow. But I think for now, having them in another room with
Hmm.
something to work on and with some sound masking. If you want, you can leave them in there for the duration of the
Hmm.
stay. Or if you want to let them out, that's fine. Arthur doesn't get pet or attention unless he has all 4 feet on the floor.
Yep.
That's just step one. And Gabe only gets attention if he solicits attention. And
Right.
soliciting attention would mean he's pawing at the person
Yep.
or he's putting like his head against the person.
Yep.
Otherwise, if he's just standing there, he
Let
doesn't
him.
want to be pet.
Yeah.
Leave him alone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can do that. That's good.
Okay. We can, and again, we can work on those skills.
No, that's helpful. I was just like, I need to think of, I just getting something in, something is helpful.
Yeah.
How soon do you suggest that we meet again?
So that's what I was going to leave you with next. So I usually recommend every 2-ish weeks just so we can
Okay,
make sure we make consistent progress. So
great.
today is the 24th. Do Fridays work for you? Like just in general?
Generally, yes. Today was a
Okay,
crazy one, but it's also the end of our budgeting season. So let's take a look.
fair.
Um,
So the 15th is 2 weeks from now.
let's look at the 15th. I think it's a good one.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you prefer morning, afternoon?
Do you have anything after 2 p.m.? 2 p.m. or later?
Yes, I have a 2 p.m., 3 p.m.,
Let's do 2 o'clock.
2. Okay. Put you down. So this is May 15th, 2 p.m.
Oh wait, nope. Sorry, take that back. My
Oh,
sister's on
okay.
that day.
That's okay. We're
Um,
gonna reschedule it. Okay.
okay,
You
sorry.
got it.
I'm
That's
like,
okay.
oh, this is like I work too many calendars. All right, so
I know
I
the
could
feeling.
do the. I mean, I could do like the 14th. I could
Yeah,
do the.
I can do the 14th. Do you want to do the same like 14th at 2 p.m.? Does that work? Or a different time?
What about like you like because would it be an hour and a half again or an hour?
Good question. 1 hour after this. Today's session is 90 minutes just because it's the first one. A lot of
Okay,
history taking. Afterwards, just an hour.
so I could do like 12 anytime between 12 and 2:30, like within that block.
Do you want to do 12, 12:30?
Let's do 12.
12. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna get a confirmation link and then you're gonna get another one that says you've been rescheduled.
Okay.
But yeah, we have you on the books. Should anything change and you need to move that again, we can do that. So no
Okay.
worries. I will send you the training worksheet that's going to have lots more details of the stuff that we talked about today. If you have any questions about anything, you don't have to wait until next session. You can
Okay.
totally email me. You can send me updates, videos, like whatever between now and next session. Um, and then we can go from there. Did you have any last minute thoughts, questions before we
No,
go? How are you feeling about everything now?
honestly, so much better. And this is like,
Good,
it's like, I feel less stressed out already. So I'm like, okay, great. These
good.
are, I just needed directives. So here we are.
Yeah, good. Well, we've got a ways to go, but I think we've got a good foundation in front of us. We'll just take it one day at a time. And yeah, let me know if you need anything between now and when you meet again. Otherwise, get yourself some coffee, go to the bathroom, do what you need to do. Have a good rest of
Thank
your
you.
day and have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.